The Matt Miller Real Podcast. The Matt Miller Real Podcast.
Hello, this is the podcast with old Matty here, and I'm drinking a Liquid Death water, a can of water, and it's very nice. It's soothing my thirst, my throat, I was going to say, but it's soothing my thirst. The nice crisp water, the mountain water going down my throat. I was going to say esophagus, and I'm like, I don't know medical stuff. You know, I guess I could Google it, but I'm not going to Google that. Who knows? You know, who really knows? Do you know? But anyhow, Liquid Death, yeah, it used to be a big podcast sponsor for other podcasts, not this one. But for other podcasts, it made a big wave, Liquid Death, canned water, and I'm drinking it now, but it's good. It's good quality water, and I'm just wondering, I wonder if TV commercial prices for advertising, I guess they go up, but have they gone down? There's just so much media, YouTube, streaming, all the social media sites. There's so many places for eyeballs to see media that I wonder if traditional TV, cable media, how much the advertising costs. If it's been going down, I don't know. It probably still goes up, but there's got to be less and less people watching that shit, There's always got to be less and less folks watching shit because there's more to watch. And I think it's good. I feel like I talk about this a lot, but the transformation from you only get to watch 4 channels or whatever when TV was made, there was only a few channels, to now, YouTube or anything. You can watch any amount of people, and people worry about conspiracy theories and spreading misinformation, but news is just as capable of doing that as well. And people will give the defense like, oh, if you become a news broadcaster, you're not supposed to do that shit, but everyone in any profession has the ability to do stuff they're not supposed to do. You shouldn't just... And then it's like, who can you trust? I guess I'm generally a low trust individual in other people, and it's something, you need to trust other people in order to get things done. You can't do everything solo. You gotta get people to help out around you. What's my point here? But I'm just wondering, I don't know. Do you think the TV will collapse at some point? The big TV, the People's Choice Awards I was watching last night, which was interesting. It was mainly, it was normal stuff, very diverse, talking about Barbie, talking about gay stuff. All this stuff people love, people want to see. I'm being a hack. So, talking about gay stuff. That's all people, that's like the joke, right? It's like everything is turning gay and dumb now. See, everything isn't turning gay and dumb if you don't watch anything. This is always my point. Just don't watch it. Don't support it. They'll have to change the broadcasting if you don't like it. They need viewers for it to exist. Somebody must be watching it and enjoying it. I remember when people were getting... I probably talked about this before too. People were getting mad about fatties in commercials, like fatties in Nike ads, big old fat ladies jumping around in Nike ads, and like, well, this is dumb. They should only have hot women on this shit. But it's just like, just don't buy Nike. I guess you can complain about it, but if that's what the business wants to do in their advertising and you don't like it, you don't have to buy their product. I mean, Nike, don't they use like slave labor? Isn't that the thing? They use slave labor, right? Nestle uses slave labor. They get into court cases all the time because ex-child slaves are suing them. I think that's a real thing. Don't actually look that up. It's true. Nike uses slave labor. Anything Nike does to show that they support minorities or whatever it's not being genuine because they don't take care of their own employees. It's just marketing. I mean, everyone knows this kind of stuff, right? Everybody knows this kind of stuff. Like, these companies don't care. It's all about that bottom line, and that makes sense. Actually, it doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense, but you gotta treat people a little better. You gotta treat people well. Is all I'm saying. But Liquid Death makes it all cool to drink water. Now, I do drink a lot of water, actually, but now I'm drinking it out of a cool can, so I feel even cooler. Let me take a little sipperoo. I'm feeling good. Feeling on top of the world right now. Do you guys like designer clothing? Who needs it, I say. People really do judge you based off your clothing. This is a known thing. How you dress is how people react to you in the world. I was wearing a white t-shirt, and I threw on this sweatshirt to make myself seem a little more presentable in this show business podcast. But, yeah, there's a guy on YouTube and TikTok and such, Math. You ever watch that guy? But he was talking about, like a lot of people's idea of the world is skewed because they're dressing bad. But, I mean, I've heard this type of knowledge before on the internet, but if you're the way you present yourself is the way the world reacts to you. I know it's unfortunate. You want the world just to be like, oh, I'm worthy. I can just be naked and look like shit, and everyone will love me because I'm a human being. But no, I mean, that's how we tell the difference between a homeless person and a non-homeless person by their tattered clothing, and their behavior, and if they're sitting there holding a sign. But if a guy's wearing a suit holding a homeless sign that's like, I need money for weed, and we all laugh like, this guy at least he's telling the truth. This guy's funny. I got to give him some cash. But yeah, if he was wearing a suit, you might be like, well, I mean, he could be wearing a tattered, old, stupid suit, and then you'd be like, this is legit. But if he's wearing, like, you can tell, a fancy suit, you'd be like, I don't trust this guy. There was an episode of The Simpsons where it was a Homer and Bart where became panhandlers because it was lucrative. And what is you can probably easily look this up. What is the average income of a panhandler? They're not making enough to get a house, is all I'm saying. That's not very nice to laugh at. What if I was in that situation? You shouldn't laugh at people that are in bad situations. Well, I'm not. This is hypothetical. These people aren't even real. I don't know if you remember, but I'm off caffeine, but I'm back on caffeine. I'm such a fatty McFatterson. It's caffeine does curb your appetite, and that's nice. It makes it easier to not want to munch all day. At least for me, I have Munchausen. That's what it means, Munchausen syndrome, where I just want to munch all the time. So I use a little coffee to curb my hunger. And the caffeine is fun. I like, unfortunately, I do like feeling different. I like the feeling of, because, caffeine is a drug. It does affect you. I don't care how like, fucking, what's the word? Your tolerance of caffeine, and you need more and more. People love to gloat about the amount of caffeine they need. Oh, I need 1,500 cups of Joe to start my day. And it's just like, yeah, you're addicted to coffee. You need more and more for it to work. But caffeine does alter you. It definitely will, in heavy amounts, make you jittery, more anxious. Look at me, I'm shaking away. But I shake normally. I'm a regular shakeman. But, yeah, and it shouldn't be something just to be think of just, something you can just fuck around. You can just chug all day. I would just drink energy drinks all day, and it would make me jittery and anxious. And I'm like, I gotta slow down, and that's why I stopped. But whatever, it is good for productivity. If you can't naturally be productive, you can force your body into some kind of alert phase, but it should be taken with a special nuance to your life. Cigarettes, are a good stimulant. I remember I listened to like the Joe Rogan podcast, and you're talking about like, one cigarette before doing a comedy set, you feel ready to go. And I don't like cigarettes, and I wonder if you do. Like cigarettes, I've never gone past the phase of cigarettes making me lightheaded and wanting me to puke, and I never could enjoy them because they always made me feel like shit. But caffeine, that's a fun stimulant. Stimulants. Are you ready? What if that was coffee? Are you ready? We're a coffee place. Where I am right now, there's 2 blocks 3 blocks, 4 coffee places, and within the 3 blocks, basically next to each other, all like independent coffee places. There's none on the street near me, and if you can use this knowledge to figure out where I am, you're good on you if you figure out where I am. But coffee shops, yeah, they love opening up more and more, just various coffee. And I'm not a coffee connoisseur. I don't know the difference between shit. This is like cheap coffee from a place I got, and it's exactly what Daddy needs. Daddy. You ever listen to, watch the Royal Gemstones? I always forget fucking every actor's name. I don't really want to remember actors' names, if I'm being honest. It was his name, Danny. He's a really funny guy. Danny, whatever his name is a Danny. The way it says Daddy. Yeah, that's a show. Don't watch shows, though. Stop watching media. Only support independent media, even though I'm talking about a show I watched. What are you going to do? I go to this Dunkin' Donuts a little bit away from me. It's basically an all Indian staff, and they're I don't know if they're I think they might be immigrants here, because I always, I'm speaking to them and they never fully understand my English. It always needs to be clarified. So I try to be like, I'll order a large iced coffee, and they'll be like, hot coffee, and I'll be like, I don't, I try to emphasize the iced. Is the way I talk, misleading? I try to be clear with my English, especially if I'm dealing with people, that maybe English isn't their first language. I probably mentioned this a million times, if someone has an accent or any kind of foreignness, I can't tell what they're saying, ever. I need you to speak clear English. If you speak clear, I can't even speak clear English, but I expect you to speak clear English. If anyone has any sort of twang to their voice, I'm losing it. I only work with you can only work with definite English in my eyes, like how it should be, definite English. That Dunkin' Donuts, I always have to really clear it out. Last time, they gave me a large iced coffee, tons of ice, and I'm like, are you guys trying to save money? Because if you use less, you get stuff. Give me a little less ice. Okay? Giving you gripes about going to Dunkin' Donuts. This is what podcasting is. You just talk about your day. People listen in their ear. You can listen about the Dunkin' Donuts run by Indians, which is typically, a lot of subways are run by Indians. I don't know what draws them to these places. We have a lot of sort of Middle Eastern type people running the bodegas around here. Then there's and one of them, there's one place that's like a Middle Eastern taco shop, and it's pretty rough. The tacos are not great. And by not great, I mean they're some of the worst I've ever had. But they give you these Heinz taco sauce. I didn't know Heinz made a nice taco sauce, and that's not good either. Heinz, have you ever used Heinz taco sauce? I don't know. I just don't know. And that's, I see, New York's very multicultural. I see lots of individuals of various backgrounds, and we all live together, and it's a beautiful state of peace, of peace and harmony. This is where I live. I live in peace and harmony. But I had a whole bunch of things that I wanted to talk about here. I had ideas of fun subjects. SSRIs are on my mind. Do you take them? I took Prozac for a minute when I was real sad, and I frankly, if you were to ask me, I would say never take SSRIs. Don't take them at all. Shit suck rectum intake. Seriously stupid rectum intake. Something smells rectum intake. It could anyone SSRI is what it could stand for. Prozac, it made it difficult for me to get hard, and that difficult for hardness lasted years. I would be banging bitches left and right, and I'd be like, oh, I'm so worried about getting fucking hard. Now, you could say that the lifestyle of the player, of never emotionally investing in someone and just going out and fucking around. I think eventually your dick's like, what are you doing? You gotta You got to find one sweet woman. So this is my time on the podcast to say, yeah, you know, you're having your fun, you know, you go out there, you're having your fucking around, but what is this doing to you? You need to emotionally invest in one person. Okay? I'm not taking, you know, don't be a polygamist, all right? Get out of town with that shit. Just have one person, just have a nice family and be loving. I'm a family loving guy. I mean, it sounds like I'm kidding, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't even live that lifestyle. You don't know my life. You don't know the fuck I do. This is a podcast. I can just say any words here that I want to say. SSRIs. That's what I want to talk about. Just forget anything I've ever said. Not a fan. Not a fan. Yeah, I have a person that I know in my life that's starting or just started taking like Lexapro to see how that works. And I just, you know, I'm going to, you know, let's see if it works for them, it works. But it's like a weird thing to do. They don't know why they work. And I think they're altering they're altering your brain. You know, I think when I did it, when I took Prozac, I felt like I couldn't reach a certain state in my brain. I only did it for a few months. It's hard to describe. It's like brain fog. Like even if something was, I need to think deeply about something. It's like it stopped at some point. Like I couldn't reach my thoughts. I don't know if that makes sense. I guess maybe this kind of goes away, but just the fact that it was able to do that isn't that pretty fucked up? We should have our thoughts. You shouldn't want to be some kind of dumb retard. You should be a well thought out individual. That's what we want in this society. Well thought out individuals thinking about things that are well thought out. So that's my take on SSRIs. They don't know why they work, and for some reason, and they do help people. I guess they can get through their days. But I sort of have the idea that maybe it's society that's the thing that's holding people back, and it's not that we need the drugs. We just need to change our way of living. That somehow the way life is set up is not coherent with the way we want to be living. And I'm not sure how to fix that. You know, maybe people are unchallenged, you know, and it's making them crazy. They need to face more struggle during the day or something, right? You go to work, you know, I guess work is challenging, but in a way that for a lot of people, it's in a way just that you have to do it. It's not like the work is challenging. It's just existing doing the work. And I'm assuming, but I think that's how a lot of jobs are, and they're very unfulfilling. So I think doing this day in and day out makes you go crazy, and then you think you got to take SSRIs just to make your brain all blah, so you can get through the day and deal with everyone else because you're annoyed by everything and you're fucking shit and fucking shit, and you're using swears as filler in your podcast when you're trying to relay a very strong point about the society we're in and how it's making you go crazy. How are your jobs doing out there? A big topic people like talking about, was it DEI? Is that it? DEI. I mean, it's just like quotas to get people that normally, or not normally, or like people that have been, you know, treated badly in the past of different groups into jobs and have it being based off their identity rather than their merit. And people online make jokes about that, but see, my stance is, yeah, anyone should be able to get any job if they have the merit. If you don't have the merit, then you can't get the job. And obviously, we should help lesser groups. Lesser is the wrong word. I mean, just groups that have historically been discriminated against, and help them learn shit. But we shouldn't just give stuff to people if they aren't capable of doing it, because then that would cause a lot of things to collapse. Which I guess is this opinion people don't like. Which I don't know why. I mean, if you're getting like going to a doctor or something, and you want the best person to do like brain surgery on your kid, do you want someone with the highest merit and accolades, or someone with the lowest merit and accolades, regardless of, you know, their race or gender or whatever? You're going to want someone with the highest accolades. So if they start, you're not going to want the person with the lower accolades, regardless of their race or gender, you know? So that's my point there on that. DEI. It's like die is the joke. Die. What does it stand for? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think they should change it to dicks, enemas, inclusion. Because you got to make it all raunchy and about sex things. Because I'm doing humor on a podcast. I didn't even mean to talk about that. On my notes here, I wrote down organization as a topic, and I have no idea what I meant by that. Oh, no, I know what I mean. I'm very unorganized. If I were to show you my space right here, like if you're watching the video and you made it and you made it this far, the camera did cut out, and I'm tired of fucking deleting storage, but I'm very disorganized. I have everything everywhere all at once in my room. I got liquid death. I got coffee. I got a different glass of water. It's tap water, and it's all, you can see all the little bubbles in it, and I like to drink down that tap water because it feels good for me. And I got another camera over here that I'm not going to set up for the video. I got a light. I'm still in front of the green screen. I can describe my room for days. This is the other thing I want to talk about. Internet money. Are you making internet money? You know that South Park episode? You ever watch South Park where the internet goes out and then everything's all fucked up? A lot of stuff is on the internet now. You know, your bank account, crypto, stocks, YouTube. A lot of people's revenue comes from having an online business. If the internet went down, that would like wreck the economy, right? Everything would be all fucked up. It's funny though. On a short thread here we're living. I mean, can the internet go down? I don't know. Will it go? How is it even existing? How would you survive without old internet-o? Hasn't even been around that long. The internet's great though. Anyone that thinks negatively about the internet is the Wild West. You know, it's the frontier of people's thoughts and emotions. And there's bad stuff on there, but there's good stuff on there. And the internet allows artists to go skip gatekeepers. If an artist is good, and then whatever people that allow people to do art doesn't like them, then you'll never see the artist. But the internet allows that artist to be seen, so that's fun. If you like little Artie, I probably talked about this a million times. Oh yeah, my last thing I wrote here was thinking violet thoughts. There's a Bill Burr joke he does a long time ago about driving on the road and you see like a group of people on the sidewalk, and he's like, it's either a normal afternoon or if you turn that wheel, it's one of the worst disasters in all of like all of the town's history. You ran over like 15 people. Do you get violent thoughts like that, where you just want to do something? Like sometimes I'll see someone, like I love dogs, but I'll see a woman maybe or a man with two pooches on a leash, and I'll just think, what if I just start stomping on those pooches into the ground? How would that affect that person? But the thing is, you don't do it. You don't act on these thoughts. And I think it's important to acknowledge that maybe these thoughts, you don't choose your thoughts, right? A lot of the time, the thoughts just come to you. It's just how you respond to your thoughts. I'm doing fucking therapy talk right now. Fuck therapy. Don't go. This is my bad advice for everyone. Don't go. It's gonna make you all confused about things. So many podcasts are brought to you by like BetterHelp and stuff. And people in my life, I tell them I think therapy is dumb, and then everyone disagrees with me, and I'm like, my caveat there is if it's working for you, it works. But if you're going to therapy and you feel like you're getting nothing out of it, or it's just like a waste of time, don't go. It's not necessary. It's not necessarily the best way for everyone to heal from whatever mental issues they have. Maybe there's other ways to heal, you know, rather than talking to some dumb fuck stranger you pay money to. That's my controversial opinion on that. People are very against the idea of, because therapy is a pretty new thing of me. I went to therapy. I talked to therapists, and I went to many therapists. I remember I had a therapist who had kids that constantly were like, this was remote, so we did it through Zoom. And he would have his, in his room with his door closed, and his kids would always be like knocking into it, and he'd have to go address them and stuff the whole time while he's listening. I would never even know what to talk about. I would just go in there and be like, oh, my life is fucking meh. But just focus your thoughts on other things. Don't focus so much on the fact that things are shitty. Easier said than done. But if you keep focusing on how shitty everything is, nothing's ever going to change. There's things you can do if you just start. This is for you fellas. For ladies, I think ladies operate on a different thing. I don't know. I think but like if you just focus on some kind of task, you'll feel better. Some kind of like whatever you like doing, focus on that. Exercising. If you keep focusing on tasks and staying on point, your little emotional worries and such, it'll start to clear up. Flow state is a great way. If you can keep getting into flow states, it's a great way to deal with all your issues. Better than talking to some fuckface, But if it's working for you, just keep doing it. Just keep fucking doing it. I am not a medical professional. You always got to say that at the end of your spiels about how you feel about it. Medicine. Always got to end on a note about medicine. Every podcast I got to end talking about, are you taking the right medicine? Are you taking SSRIs? SSRIs? I thought those were created by the Nazis. That's what Nazis took, the SSRIs. SS, real inside. You put the real inside you, the pills from the SS. I just put out a video about a COVID joke or a vaccine joke that's became hack, and I was talking to people in the comments, and it was fun. But check that video out; it's on all my social medias here. My social medias, no internet, no social medias. What am I gonna do? I can't listen to my podcasts. Hopefully, this was funny for you. You fuckers listening away to the old podcast. Hopefully this was quite funny for you and you laughed for days and you got some information out of it. Nothing I say I actually endorse. It's all flow state thoughts. If you disagree, good. Keep disagreeing. You should disagree. You shouldn't agree with me. You should disagree with me. You should disagree with lots of stuff you're watching. Don't just agree. Disagree more. But this is the Matt Miller Real Podcast. And thanks for listening. Goodbye.
It's the Matt Miller Real Podcast. It's the Matt Miller Real Podcast.